Hello, all. A very warm welcome. My name is Louie Shalin, and today we are going to talk about the level 1 of the inner voice. This is a series which we have begun last week where we are talking about the inner voice. We tell our viewers, we tell our audience that what are we offering and why are we offering that, the relevance of each level. We started with an introduction of the inner voice, and today we are going to talk about its level 1, which is presence. This is a very important, like this is the first step and also the foundational step towards the inner voice. It is not just the start of the course, but yes, it creates a good solid foundation for the practitioner to go ahead with. With over a decade of experience with energy healing, I have come up with this energy healing technique, which has divided into 5 levels, and thus this is the first one which we are going to talk about. So with me is going to be one of our associates, Sneha. We'll be talking about this level 1, and we are going to be adding a lot to it. Hello, hi Sneha.
Yeah, hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you? Yeah, good. Thank you. First of all, I would like to introduce Sneha. She has been with us for maybe around a month now, and the day since she has entered into energy and emotions, everything has moved towards a very positive trend. Like, we really want to thank her. We are grateful for her presence. We want to thank her for all her efforts.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Sneha. So maybe you can tell a little about your background and to our audience.
Okay, so I am from Bareilly basically. It's a and I did my schooling from here only. I did my 12th from here. Then I did my interior designing graduation from Gurgaon. And after that, I have been working in Gurgaon for 3 years. And
Ah,
now, like,
wonderful.
I'm working
Wonderful.
with you.
That's good. That's really good. All right, so we are talking about the inner voice today, which is the level 1 of the level of presence.
So actually, I saw the first thing that came into my mind. Like
Mhm.
if you explain this presence, like the first level, like how exactly a person starts this process. How would you explain it in very layman terms, like by giving a like very simple example, like what
Mhm.
exactly this process, the first level, how exactly this works, how is this step important? This
So, well, when we talk about presence, in fact, when we talk about the entire journey of healing, the first thing what we need to be aware about is where are we? Where exactly is the place we are sitting? Which is just acknowledging what is in, what is around. This is basically setting up of from where we are going to begin. When we begin the process of healing, we got to be well rooted, well seated in our position. So whatever we are receiving, it doesn't get us uprooted. It doesn't get us moved from where we are. Because healing is quite an intense process a lot of times. And with things coming up emotionally, there's a lot of emotional baggage that sometimes we carry. And when we are dealing with that in present, there's a lot of chances for a person of getting carried away in the flow of that. So
so
level,
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
please.
Yeah, you were asking. Yeah, so yeah, level 1 basically talks about that. It teaches how not to get carried away, or how to hold your position, how to hold your place in that.
So, like, maybe if we can define it in other terms, maybe it's like accepting the things, like the emotions we have, if we can explain it in other
Uh,
terms.
yes, acceptance, we can say, yes, that is a part of it. But
Accepting
more
means,
than that, it is acknowledging. that we are acknowledging that so and so thing is there, and that's all what we are seeing.
So there was also an image regarding that five things you see, you hear, you feel. So how this these like process these steps, how does it help exactly to acknowledging the outer, like these things are basically not in our inner circle, like
Mhm.
inside us. They are the things we see. Like I can see my laptop, I can see my phone. So how does this thing help in, like, because the basic thing is the inner self, like the inner voice. So how does
Mhm.
these external things affect us? Like I wanted to.
So first of all, it is important to be in present. We gotta be in the present moment, and that's exactly how we are going to do this. To be in the present moment, we are going to use our senses, the five of our senses, and we are going to use them as as they come across. And it's going to be the things which we are seeing, because eyes or vision is relatively a faster sense. Like vision travels at the speed of light, and we can see a lot of things in a shorter span, but we cannot smell as many things in that shorter span. It's gonna So that is an intenser sense, but not so, I would say, not so fast at the same time. Thus, we give more kind of space to what we can call vision or sight. The five things which we are seeing, we are just look around, acknowledge what we are seeing, and just acknowledge what we are seeing. It's not acceptance completely, but yes, I acknowledge that I see so and so thing. And similarly with the subsequent senses.
So if we talk about like presence, as in, so we are just acknowledging what we see, what we touch. So isn't like acknowledging the thoughts we are having and the emotions we are feeling also a process of this, like level one?
So when we talk about thoughts and emotions, a lot of time, a lot of times, what happens when we have a thought, we either have a habit of witnessing the thought, or we have a habit of following the thought. If we follow the thought, we are going into the same circle which we were earlier. We are traversing the same path, and that is keeping us into the same loop. However, when we talk about just witnessing that, okay, let me see where is this gonna lead me to.
So when we are in the process, like when we are in level one of this process, so do we try to control or do we try to stop our thoughts and just acknowledge what is in front of us, or do we like, do
Mhm.
we keep going with our thoughts? Like I am
Well,
having like
thoughts
10.
are something. Mhm. Well, yeah, thoughts are something. One thing one we need to acknowledge or we need to understand is that we cannot unthink anything.
Right.
If there is a thought, if there is an emotion, we just got to feel it. We cannot unthink, we cannot keep any of the thought or the emotion away just like that. Now, then it comes to the process, like you say, we got to control our thought. We can just control what we focus on. We cannot control the coming or going of a thought.
I understood a bit. Yeah.
If I'll ask you to, for example, not think about an elephant, maybe perhaps you'll start thinking of one.
About it. Yeah. But like if I am like, you told me not to think about an elephant, and I still think about it. Like that's like how curiosity works. Like the things you tell me not to see or not to touch, I'll eventually go and touch it. But
Mhm.
if like if I am seeing like five things in front of me, so those things, or those like five things or four things I touch, so those things will be affecting my thoughts somehow. So if like I want to understand how this external things work with the internal, like our inner voice.
Ah,
Like what do
okay,
you think?
okay. That's quite interesting. Yes, like how they correlate and how we are gonna correlate and rather move ahead from that. So when we see something, we have a preconceived notion, we have an understanding of that thing beforehand. Now, with that understanding, like we see something and there's something which is already registered in our mind that, okay, this means so and so. That does not mean that we are looking at it. We are instead, we are drawing a conclusion from it. And drawing a conclusion is a lot different from witnessing or acknowledging the presence of it. For example, I'll tell you, for example, I see this mug. I've seen this mug like maybe for over an year, for example. And every time I say, okay, this is a blue mug. Is it filled or empty? Where's my coffee? That's all. That's my relation with the mug. If it's if the coffee is done, maybe I'll have another one, or I'll keep it for cleaning. On the other hand, when I'm seeing the mug in level one, it means witness the mug. Maybe I can see that a part is chipped from this point, like the part is missing here, or I'm observing the pattern, how this must have been made, or I'm just witnessing how the mug looks like, or how's the shape of the mug, maybe. This is acknowledging the presence or witnessing the mug, or having or observing the mug and not just seeing it, which is going beyond our conventional maybe understanding or our conventional outlook towards or our conventional perspective towards what we are already used to.
Okay, so it's basically not just looking at five things, it's more of going beyond the basic concepts we have of those five things.
Basically, letting ourselves free from that sense of judgment that we are holding a lot of times. Because we are generally in a state of hurry and rush that, okay, I got to do this, I got to finish that, and there's so much going on in the mind. So, for any healing to happen, we need to let that thing settle down first. Because if I'm constantly battling with something else, I can't do anything else. Like, it's going to be really hard for me to focus onto healing myself or what's going on within me.
Okay, I understood. So, would you like to add anything else to level one of like this, the inner voice?
So, yeah,
Something which I
level
have
one,
entered.
yeah, of course, yeah. So, well, when we talk about level one, this is not just the level, the initiation of the course, not just the initiation of the entire program or the healing process, but this is the foundation of it. It is not just used to begin to initiate the process, but we require to recall and engage the lessons from level one even after practicing, after we have learned, after we are done with the course. A lot of times, like I said, we are carried away by the thoughts and emotions. There's too many thoughts, there are so many emotions, they overwhelm our thinking, they overwhelm us at times. And what we don't need to get to give in to the overwhelm, just get in touch with your presence. Just look around, just feel your touch. Maybe you can just feel your hands, that okay, maybe you can touch your hands and you can feel the touch of your hands. You can feel the touch on your face, or any of your senses you can use, but not don't try to, like, for example, a lot of people use this as binge eating. That is also related to this because they constantly are trying to distract themselves from something. Binge eating is, since taste is the strongest sense by and large what we have. Taste is the strongest sense organ. And what people do, they generally build up a habit over time that, okay, I don't want to see this. I want to distract myself, so I'll eat. Eat is going to give me taste. Now that taste is going to keep me distracted.
Like emotional eating, emotional binging.
Exactly, emotional binging, which is
Like
not
when
giving into that.
sad, they like start consuming and distract their mind.
Exactly, exactly. So if we are getting stuck at some points due to, say, some people have a sore thing about binge eating, and in fact it is quite common. Rolling back a few years, in fact, before I got into energy healing, even I had that habit. It is as common. In fact, I can tell how it feels to binge eat, and I've done it myself too. But the point is like how to break that. To break that, find something else. I could break that through breath meditation. You can break that through body meditation or anything else that suits you the best. Because breathing is a constant process which is happening. We don't control it. We can witness it, but it's happening on its own throughout the day, throughout, like while we are asleep or whatever we are doing. That's a constant process which is going on. Getting back to the breath is one of the best practices of mindfulness, or one of the best practices one can resort to. So like this is all about like a lot of things they depend on this. But mastering level 1 is really gonna support the healing process of the practitioner. It's gonna be used a lot of times. Yeah. So well, maybe with this we can conclude our today's session where we talked about the level 1 of the inner voice. Okay, all right. Thanks. Thanks to you, Sneha, for joining in. I want to thank all of our viewers for joining and would love to have their questions as well. If there are any, they can also write to us, and you can write in the comments of this live, or you can send DMs if you want to discuss something, and we would love to interact with you. Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Sneha.
Thank you,
And
sir.
once again, yeah, all right.